Hello, my name is Gerald Martin Moore and I am the head of opera at Yale and director of vocal studies. And today we're here to talk a little bit about the vocal trill. So the trill in voice is an oscillation of the larynx, which is quite difficult to master. And it's a question of controlling and an intentional lack of control. You have to release the larynx completely, which is a feeling of letting go, but then the ear generally has to control the two pitches. It's sort of akin to a very controlled yodel, a la Tarzan, but then bringing it gradually under control and finessing that down. So one of the reasons I love to work on the trill, it's not purely because I love the trill as a vocal ornament. It's that in order to execute a correct trill, the larynx has to be completely free. And that's what singers want from their singing, whether it's in florid music or sustained. So a trill as part of your vocal technique is, for me, pretty essential for great vocal health. There are three distinctly different types of trill. The very first trill, known as the Monteverdi trill or goat trill, is usually one note rapidly hammered or repeated and usually done with a slight aspiration of the breath. Then there is the slower, more instrumental trill where you could actually count the notes. You can hear the notes because they're not moving so rapidly but very distinctly. And then the one that we're discussing and trying to demonstrate today, the laryngeal trill, the oscillation of the larynx, the one used in bel canto, where the larynx has to oscillate rapidly between registrations. So the third type of trill is considered to be the most difficult, and one of the reasons it can be considered that way is that there are certain singers, Joan Sutherland being a prime example, of what I would call natural-born trillers, who had the ability to do this just by their ear hearing the trill and their throat adjusting. Manuel Garcia, the very famous teacher of the 19th century, was famous for devising an exercise that he taught to Jenny Lind, the famous Swedish nightingale who arrived in his studio without the ability to trill and left, according to all that we've read about her, there are no recordings in existence, with one of the best trills ever. So she applied this exercise, which you'll see a little bit demonstrated today. So Jae-yoon, we're going to talk about trills today, and you have a good natural trill, but we discovered that when you really work the exercise, it gets better and better, yes? So the exercise that Garcia taught, which we worked a little bit, but it's not easy, is to start with the feeling of the larynx, the registrations switching from the lower to the higher. So I want you to feel slow, controlled yodel, feeling between two pitches, like ya. Try that for me. So you see that the tendency is to control the pitch with your jaw. So the trill is hard because it's a combination of controlling the pitches, and lack of control because you have to release completely your larynx. That's a difficult thing. So what I want you to get is, don't worry how fast, just feel the larynx completely release from one register to another. So sometimes the higher note can be more head voice and slightly darker vowel, like ya. So it's like ah to ah. Ya. Try and get it regular rather than fast. So then you feel it release. So the hard part is to control the pitch. So you control the pitch with your ear and the breath, but you have to release completely here, which is a little scary because it feels like no control. So then the Garcia exercise is to reduce the interval and go a little faster. Ya. It's like a yodel. It's not going to sound so pretty for now, but we'll make it pretty in a minute, we hope. Good. So you see it's hard to control the pitch, but you're getting the freedom in the larynx. Now try the third. Good, so you see your jaw is not involved. Then, when you do the actual full tone trill, try to feel the weight goes on the weaker note, because we will always gravitate to the main note with our ear. So you want more weight on the second note. Ya. Try that. How's that feel?
It's really released.
Yes. So you're looking for release, and you also want to be connected to the breath to be able to do the trill on the full voice, not coming off your voice artificially lightening for a trill. It really has to be connected. How's that one feel?
That's better.
Yeah, so be more aware of the harmonically weaker note. If you're heavier on the weaker note, when you release into the trill, they should both be balanced equally. What we often hear with a trill is a lower dominant note with a fast vibrato, okay? Great. So that's a good start, yes?
Yeah.
Great. So you see that's kind of like a makeshift, like fake it trill. So you want to get that really more precise.
Yeah.
So go back to that fifth yodel, which actually felt good, yeah? So that's completely the right feeling of release in your throat. Now, when it gets more difficult is, as the intervals decrease, you want to think, can I slightly increase the speed?
Okay.
But just do it by degrees. So now we'll try the fourth. Can you go any faster than that?
I can try. I might lose control, but yeah.
That's fine. The thing is, we're both control freaks,
Yeah.
so it's hard, you want to control. So what you have to do is don't think of losing control, think of transferring the control.
Okay.
So you transfer any control that you were feeling there, which you shouldn't anyway, to the feeling of controlling the pitch with your ear and the trill with the breath flow. Good. Now do the third. Good. Now to get the trill on the tone, put more weight on the weak note. So start with try that. The thing is, you've almost got it, you just hate to let go of control. So now try la. What I feel is control with the airflow and with my ear, but you have to let go of there. That's much closer.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
I could feel more larynx motion, which is good.
Well, it's one of the times I want you to actually be aware of your larynx, because a real trill is was called a shake in Britain because it's an oscillation of your larynx. And Garcia taught that you can fake it by putting your fingers on your throat and doing that. So it does, your larynx is supposed to oscillate there in a way which it's not when you're singing legato. That's why it's a little scary when you first discover it, because you have a sense of control of your legato and then you have to suddenly release it. So now try that in context. How's that feel?
Better. Yeah.
Better. So in order to get that, the thing is, most guys are like, yeah, I only have like one trill every now and again, and you don't practice it. In the old days, it was drilled into you. And I would insist on it, not for the sake of just the trill itself, but just for vocal health.
Yeah.
You can't have a tight, tense throat if you're trilling. So it's just good to practice that every day. Let's like really be mean and ask you to do a longer one with a little bit of a messa di voce. So, la, mi, fa. Try that. That's good.
Yeah, better.
I'm not going to let you away with it, okay? It's good. Okay, Thanks.